And there we are, folks. We are live, and look, I thought we were going to have a jam-packed show tonight, and sure enough, it's going to be more than I even thought. With the news that about 3 minutes before 7, we get a release from LSU announcing that the football program has parted ways with offensive line coach James Cregg. So we're going to have that to discuss tonight. Loads of recruiting information, kids on campus the last 2 days, and more to come. But in baseball coaching search, the works. Of course, Pride Roofing is our sponsor each and every week, and we thank them for sponsoring our show. Give them a call, 225-275-2041. Tell them you want your free roof inspection. You heard about them on TigerBait, and they're going to give you an annual subscription to TigerBait free for a year. So I'm gonna wait for a bunch of you guys to get in here and into the chat, and then we're going to get to your questions. And I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of James Cregg overload and why and what happened. And all I can tell you is that it's going to be very interesting. This is the time of year where it's not easy to hire coaches. And so a lot of ifs, what's going to happen, how it's going to play out. It's going to be very interesting to say the least. So please do me a favor, hit the like button, share it to social media. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button, share it to your page. Please share it to the LSU groups if you don't mind, Tiger Nation, Real Tiger Nation, and all those groups. Very much appreciated to you guys that do that. Here we go. What's the real scoop on James Cregg? As soon as I got the release and got it up on TigerBait, I immediately started reaching out to sources, and either they weren't picking up because I'm assuming they were getting bombarded with phone calls from guys just like me. I started reaching out to parents of recruits and to see what they had heard. And look, when you read a news release that looks like that with no quotes, very abrupt, succinct, your immediate thought is something negative is going on, and speculating on that can be dangerous. But look, if he was ill, they'd say, look, he's fighting an illness. We saw that with Coach Craigthorpe. If he was taking another job, while it would be bad timing, they would thank him for being a part of the program and a Joe Morta award-winning offensive line coach, etc. But when you get a release that's basically 2 or 3 sentences like that, you got to believe that it's something that's not good. And it really puts LSU in a bad spot because, look, you've got official visitors coming this weekend. You're recruiting a banner offensive line class. You've got multiple commitments already. You've got an offensive line, defensive line camp on Saturday. These kids that are coming in for official visits, all those top offensive linemen, Dewberry, et cetera, they want to build relationships with their offensive line coach. So this is going to be very difficult. I see some of you already putting Kevin Mawae in the chat. I figured that would be the case. Certainly he would be easy to go and get. But I think one of the things that you need to guard against is people automatically assume because you were a great offensive lineman and a Hall of Famer that makes you automatically a great coach or a great recruiter. It's not that at all. So, could he be the guy? He certainly, if he is, he certainly would be easier to get than some other guys because of his position. We'll see. Blaine Smith, Rob Sale would be great, or Mawae. Let's see. Brian Abedy, will Gilbert be eligible to play this year? The SEC needs to make an example out of him. Yes, he will be eligible. I think he needs 2 classes in summer school. And there's going to be no making examples of anybody because they're giving everybody a one-time transfer rule. Let's see. Chris Bordelon, I'd be surprised if Mawae is not one of the top guys, Hall of Famer and a former Tiger. Like I said, being a Hall of Famer and a former Tiger doesn't mean that you're going to be a great offensive line coach. Why hasn't he gotten other jobs? That's my question. Esteban, what's going on, Big Mike? Go Tigers. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I was planning on doing a good 30 minutes on football recruiting. A lot of news out there, a lot of news coming our way. It's been round the clock for the last 48 hours. LSU staff doing a fantastic job in recruiting, but then we get this news right at 7 o'clock tonight of James Cregg, LSU parting ways with him. And boy, the timing is just awful. There's no way around it. And look, I've gotten text messages, is it an NCAA deal? Was it involving a particular player and something going wrong there? You know, in recruiting, is there a recruiting violation? I don't know any of that right now. But what I do know is the timing of it and the way that release was worded and how short and succinct it was. There's no other way to take it from somebody who's been covering the news for over 25 years that it's not a positive. Brandon Reason up probably won't happen. What about Alan Faneca? No, you go out and get you a guy who coaches, wants to coach. You know, and immediately your thought is, okay, Kevin Mawae. Maybe an NFL coach that didn't catch on with another team with coaching changes in the offseason. Is there somebody like that out there? Kind of like when LSU brought Bill Johnson in. You know, is that going to be the scenario that? And look, also too, if you're Ed Orgeron right now, you're probably you know, even though they're young guys, you're leading on Peets and Mangus. You know, with their offense, what offensive line coach do you think you can work with that you have some respect for, that you think can recruit? You know, or you go in the short-term route right now, and you're trying to get a coach that you know, is just going to tide you over. I don't know whether that does you any good in recruiting. So the timing of this is bad. And then if you're going to go and try and pilfer a coach that's really, really good from somebody else's staff. A lot of these assistant coaches have 2- and 3-year deals, some of them guaranteed. A lot of valued offensive line coaches, position coaches, do have buyouts in them. So this isn't going to be cheap either, I don't think. So Scott Tron, hello, Mike, late as usual. Was I late or you're late? I know I was 3 or 4 minutes late, phone ringing off the hook. Let's see. Daniel Glenn, not averse to the move, but extremely odd timing. If he wasn't getting it done by the spring game, then it was time to hook him. No, this isn't. There's no way you can convince me that you're making a decision that he's not your guy and can get the job done, you know, June 2nd with official visitors coming on campus, your commitments coming on campus, and an offensive line, defensive line camp. And Emry Jones was there yesterday, et cetera. This is absolutely a situation in my mind. And like I said, I don't want to, I keep saying I don't want to have conjecture, but look, man, when you get a release like that, it can't be anything but, you know, like I said, if it was an illness, if he was battling something, got diagnosed with something like Coach Craigthorpe, that would be in the release. You know, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's going to battle this and stay on as an analyst or whatever, you know, whatever it is. We thank him. If he all of a sudden got a more lucrative job with an NFL team because somebody on their staff had to go away, you know, you wouldn't like it, but you would certainly have quotes in there. We thank him. Man, 3 sentences? To me, it's abrupt. It's all of a sudden, and there's something that has taken place that's not good. And what form that is, I have no idea. But you can, you know, there's some things that you can probably say having a few drinks at a bar without a microphone on, and other things you can't, is to speculating as to what that might or might not be. Let's see, guys. Yep. Scott Trahan. Unusual timing, but Coach O must have saw something in recruiting that he did not like. I don't think that's it. You know, because I look, I mean, what would it be? You were having a bunch of official visitors in, and all of a sudden they're not coming because they would be claiming we hadn't heard from Coach Cregg in a couple of weeks. No, because you've got assistants, you've got player personnel people, you've got other guys in the building. They have meetings every day. Have you touched base with this guy? Have you booked book flights, whatever. I mean, that stuff. You got so many little gears in that Rolex watch at LSU that is impossible. So let's see. How did Bama handle the Bo Davis situation? Well, he had a show cause, and I think some of that has been gone now. I know his name has come up a lot over the years, but there's some people out there that believe that in the SEC that there's kind of like an unwritten, it's not in their bylaws, but there's almost like a blackball of anybody who's ever had a show cause, even though it's either ran out or been appealed. It's not, you don't see those guys end up back in the SEC usually. Let's see. Samuel Hassan, I hope it's not anything similar to what the school is going through right now. Yep, I mean, who knows? This is, and look, you guys got me checking my phone because there's another media buddy of mine right there saying, what the heck's going on? Everybody's asking questions. And like I said, got the release. I was on the phone with a high school coach talking about a recruit. And all of a sudden, I look at my phone's dinging, and there's an email from Michael Bonnet and LSU Sports Information with that headline. And I'm like, holy crap. And said, man, let me go. Got the story up, got out our text alerts to our subscribers. And many of you guys probably got that text alert, and our newsletter went out. And so nobody has an answer right now, but you got to believe the rumors are flying fast and furious. So as soon as I get something, if it's repeatable, I'll let you guys know. So hello, Greg Price from Houston. Glad to have you with us. Blaine Smith. So what is recruiting buzz? Well, the recruiting buzz is, look, you've had a lot of, I think some of the biggest news yesterday was after hearing for several weeks that Trevante Citizen, the running back from Lake Charles Prep, was maybe leaning to go out of state, and LSU was way on the outside looking in. For him to be there bright and early, first thing when the dead period ends, and he's there yesterday morning, and of course his cornerback teammate got an offer as well. I think that was very telling. Jordan Matthews, the cornerback from Woodlawn, getting an offer. First guy in the office with Ed Orgeron. They extend him an offer. Of course, he's Rashawn Matthews' son. I had a chance to see Jordan at Rohan Davies' 7-on-7 team. Fantastic athlete. When I went to Woodlawn spring practice, he wasn't participating because he was in the middle of track season. But we all thought the offer for him was going to roll in after he went to camp, and they got to work with him a little bit. And Corey Raymond really surprised him with an offer. I talked to Rashawn and Jordan, and the mom was on. I was on speaker, and I could hear her laughing. And boy, you want to talk about a happy family. And excellent people. Of course, the LSU legacy. Rashawn played for LSU in the mid to late 90s, and out of Christian Life, defensive end linebacker. So there you go. Boy, a lot of Kevin Mawae you guys are hitting me with tonight. Brian Duke with another Kevin Mawae. You know, it's one of those deals where, which guy or can you get this time of year? Who's willing to leave where they're at this time of year? These guys have families. They're in the middle of camp season just like LSU. It's going to be very, very difficult. Preston Guy, Christian Life Academy. Yep. Preston went through that school, and they decided to go ahead and shut it down. That was the end of them. All right, guys, let's see. Rob Sale makes sense. Yep, we get a little Rob Sale. That's 2 or 3 of them so far. So, yeah. We got some baseball coaching search we can talk about. Let's see. Hey, I was a student assistant at LSU Sports Information when Kevin's scholarship papers came over the fax. And, boy, they had fax machines back then? Let's see. Dane Bergeron. Hey, Mike, sorry I'm late to the show. Have you talked about LSU losing another running back? No, I haven't, but it makes sense. Look at the numbers of LSU running backs. I don't think that's going to be an issue for LSU. He's had a chance to size up the new freshman, and I think some of that look, there was rumors all throughout the spring that he'd be in the portal, and it never happened, but it made sense. And look, not only do you have two fantastic freshmen that just arrived a week or so ago, but you've got a bunch of very good ones in the state of Louisiana that are coming up right behind them. Le'Veon Moss, Citizen, HN at Jennings. You've got some guys out there. So, and then on campus today, you had Reuben Owens there from Texas, the 5-star running back for the class of 23, who's been committed to Texas since I think February 25th. He was on campus today. So running back is not a problem for LSU, and you do need some natural attrition if you want to be able to get to the 85 scholarship. Bart Smokey has plenty of connections. He will be able to locate a good coach. Yeah, and look, Bart brings up a good point. I had someone tell me before we went off the air, this could, in some way actually be a positive depending on who you can get. You got to believe, though, that the list of who you can get isn't going to be nearly as lengthy as who you could get, in January or December when you're making some moves. So we'll see. Craig Duncan, what are you hearing on possible next baseball coach? I tell you what, man. Friday I would have said O'Sullivan. Sunday I would have said Schlossnagle at TCU was the number one guy. I think O'Sullivan's still very much in play. I think there's been an underground swell of people trying to sandbag him. There's so many rumors negative about him, and I think one by one they've got to tick them off. But it also seems like maybe there's a faction out there that, for whatever reason, don't want him, or they've seized on some of the stories and rumors they've heard, or that have been dug up, that either some quarter truths or half truths or no truths at all. And I think some of that's getting ugly. I think Vitello, it just seems to me that he's going to end up getting paid in Knoxville. But I do think there's a tricky situation with him, I'm told, is that he wants a new baseball stadium. And there's something about there's talk about wanting the minor league team there for them to share a stadium, and it wouldn't be on campus, and that is a no-go for him. Obviously, he's a hot name, but don't kid yourself. I have a hard time believing any baseball coach, no matter their chops, is going to have an easy time getting the job if both Skip Bertman and Paul Maneri don't sign off on it. I really believe that. So, and look, you've got the local guys out there that are the money guys, and the names or the name that are part of it. That's certainly a big deal. But a lot of these coaches know who's doing the right things in recruiting, who's skirting the rules. There's some guys out there that a lot of coaches in the league don't like. And I think if it goes beyond Schlossnagle and O'Sullivan, the next guy would be Godwin. I don't hear anybody saying Vitello has a big shot at it. So then I don't know that Godwin really excites a whole lot of people. To me, you go after Florida or TCU coaches. Those are the type of guys that usually you're going to expect a Scott Woodward to get into the fold because that's his track record. After he got Kim Mulkey, he likes the big fish, and I do know come Saturday I got phone calls from several Texas A&M beat writers seeing what I knew, and when the word got out Friday morning that Maneri was retiring, I know Tex Ag's message board and that whole community got real nervous because they know Scott Woodward, they know his track record. He likes the big guy with the big resume and the track record, and Schlossnagle is their guy that they hope to lure away from TCU. So they believe, the Aggies believe, that he doesn't leave for anywhere but them. And I have other people saying that he would absolutely take the LSU job over Texas A&M. So we're going to see how this plays out. It's going to be, I think we had the initial blast of candidates, but of course all these guys are playing baseball. So I think this coaching search is either going to be could be probably another 2 weeks or even as long as a month, depending on who the guy is. But I think they're doing their due diligence, and we're going to see how this plays out. Blaine Smith, Arik Gilbert, Dale Goodrich. Yeah, Gilbert is on his way to Georgia. There's no other way, nothing else to discuss with him. Y'all know the situation has been a mess. And look, I think you're better off right now. You know, look, you want the best for him, the stuff that he was dealing with personally. But at the same time, this could be another situation where it's a blessing, because if you don't have another episode, you sure don't want it to happen at the end of October when you're about to go to Tuscaloosa in a couple of weeks. So we're going to see what happens there. Chance Babin, Bianco not being considered. I was told that he's happy where he's at, wouldn't be interested, and I think he's a hard sell because of the lack of success, or major success, I should say, that he's had in Oxford. I don't know that that's, you know, you can have the debate on whether Madere was forced out, the neck, you know, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But I don't know where Bianco moves the needle with the fan base. Look at this, guys. We got a lot of you guys in here, 200 in here at one time we just hit. So let's see. Yeah, Brian Abity, bye. No doubt. Agreed. Let's see. She's already getting the roster changed. Talking about Kim Mulkey? Oh, yes, she is. Got a big one today. Moon's on the way in from Destrehan, Baylor. Don't kid yourself. That is a big get for Kim Mulkey. A point guard that's got a national championship ring. And now you got several Baylor players. And I think that's going to help her with who was already there, who was signed, and getting those other kids in the program moving in the right direction. Let's see. Richard Senette, will Emry Jones be a Tiger? Yeah, I believe he will be. Don't get all nervous and think that because of what's happened tonight at 7 o'clock with James Cregg that all of a sudden LSU's recruiting class of offensive linemen is going to fall apart. First of all, what you've got right now is one from Mobile and all the rest are from Louisiana. I don't believe Emory's going to go anywhere. But maybe I'm wrong and it's not going to be a tall order. And Ed Orgeron's going to be able to bring somebody in that's absolutely stellar in Crackerjack. I don't think he's going to have them there this weekend for when you've got an OLDL camp on Saturday and official visitors. I'm going to be very interested to see how they work that. Look, you've got a bunch of very good coaches that aren't listed as assistant coaches in that building. So they're going to have a plan for this weekend, but no doubt I just got a mental picture in my head where they're like, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to address this? How are we going to coach this group on Saturday? Who's going to be making the calls? Who's calling Ben Bordelon and letting him know what's going on? Who's calling Will Campbell and talking to his parents? I mean, they're probably doing all that right now as you and I are talking right here on this show. So, yeah, Larry's saying this is really bad timing nonetheless. Absolutely. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Sean Carpenter brings up a good question. And I talked to Kendall Rogers with D1 Baseball about this the other day. You know, you just never hear about any MLB coaches or minor league coaches being candidates. One of the guys that I didn't put on my hot board, I know former Oregon State coach Pat Casey has been making the calls. I'm told I was told he inquired about LSU, that he's made a call, that he's interested. Of course, he retired, 2 years ago? What is he, 62? I'm told before that when the A&M job opening came out, he reached out to them. So he's wanting to get back into coaching. But, the groups of coaches on the board are either in the 53-year-old range or the 43-year-old range. If all of a sudden he became a guy, he'd be in his 60s. But why did he retire in the first place? I just don't see that happening. Bryan Madere, where's the Bud man when he's needed? Yeah, Buddy says tonight's his date night. And so I guess he didn't have a date last week. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen with Buddy, but he'll be back soon enough. Let's see. Pat Mashburn. I think the calls were made to our offensive line commitments before LSU released a statement. Could be. Ben Wilkerson, offensive line coach. There you go. Y'all getting them all in here tonight. Let's see. I tell you what, Ben Wilkerson, man, talk about it. He is a good coach. So let's see how that plays out. I mean, former LSU player, was in the program as a GA. We're going to see how this plays out. I tend to think could it be if you want to put the odds on, is it a current offensive line coach at a current Power 5 school that he can pilfer? What's the odds on that? What's the odds on it being a retired 60-something NFL coach, or an NFL offensive line coach that was on an NFL team last year and due to coaching changes didn't get on with somebody else, so he's kind of sitting in limbo this year? Is that somebody you could bring in? That's always a tricky situation, because if you bring somebody in, is it only for a year? How do you handle that in recruiting? I mean, you got to be recruiting not just finishing off 22 class, but 23. Ideally, you want your offensive line coach that's working the camp this weekend. He's not just trying to finish off 22. He's working with 23 and 24 prospects throughout the month of June as they come on campus for Ed Orgeron football camps. Let's see. Bryan Madere NCAA fixing to investigate Arik Gilbert saga. I don't know. They sure do have a lot of on their plate, and what do they got, about 6 or 7 investigators? How long before we find out on Will Wade and LSU's self-imposed sanctions? How much manpower do they have working on that? Carl Dunbar is a defensive line coach, Pat Mashburn. Let's see. Brett Allen, Florida doesn't invest much into baseball. It's a shame considering the job O'Sullivan has done, no doubt. They got a brand new stadium. They're not supporting him. The crowds. LSU would be a better job, however, more demanding. I think he could handle the pressure to win. Like I said, baseball coaches are pretty insular, and they all talk to one another, but they're also try to be gentlemen about their sport. There's not a whole lot of arrows that are thrown like they are in a football game. But like I said, Wilbur's going to go after the best guy that's going to give him the biggest bang, and he thinks can bring championships. But at the same time, like I said, I think Skip Bertman and Paul Mainieri are also going to have some say, and not just because who they favor, who they like, but because they have knowledge. They have knowledge of these guys. They know what they've been dealing with on the recruiting trail, how they do their business, going up against them. If there's anything that's beyond the norm in the way that those programs are being run, because they all cross paths, and particularly in O'Sullivan's case, a foe in the SEC. Chance Babin, Paul Alexander, former Dallas Cowboy offensive line coach, is available. I think there's going to be a bunch of guys like that. Do you look up and find a guy that has some college experience as well, like someone like him? That all of a sudden it's not just a stopgap guy. You get him on campus that you think is maybe an interim guy to get you through, and all of a sudden he's crackerjack and he's exceptional and he's good at everything, and he ends up being we're looking at this thing 3 or 4 years from now, and boy, that looked like some dark times, and they absolutely hit a home run. So we're going to see how this all plays out. But no doubt about it, while they're on the phones working recruits and lining up everything they've got to get done for tomorrow and getting ready for this weekend's camps, now you're throwing in an offensive line coaching search. Scott Trahan, I missed you earlier on this one. Do you think Brennan leaves if he is not given the starting job? That's a tricky question. I know there's a lot of people that believe that under no circumstance would he leave. And then there's other people who believe he would absolutely leave if he's not the starter. And no matter how much you tell a guy like Miles Brennan, who's been there for years now, that you're just an injury away from being the guy, at this point, if they're really a true competitor, it's a hard sell. I don't see Max Johnson going anywhere regardless, but there's the debate to be had about Myles Brennan. The last thing you want if you're Ed Orgeron and Coach Peets and Mangus and et cetera is a scenario where, you know, you're there in the fall with Max Johnson and true freshman Garrett Nussmeier. And I'm not dinging Garrett Nussmeier, but you don't want your next guy up in case something happens to Max to be a true freshman. And particularly Garrett, who I don't know what he's weighing now, but showed up at 175 pounds. I think he would tell you he needs the year. He's that kind of kid. So we're going to see how this plays out. By the way, I want to talk about Pride Roofing. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. Please give Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez a call, 225-275-2041. If you're in Sulphur and had any damage, water damage, they're out there knocking out sheetrock. They're contractors. But if you have any roofing issues, whether you're in Sulphur all the way to Gulf Shores or Foley, Alabama, the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, North Shore, Covington, Mandeville, Madisonville, Florida parishes, they've got you covered. Baton Rouge area, they're doing a roof in Breaux Bridge. They've got a few more in Lafayette. Anywhere in South Louisiana, South Mississippi, all the way up to Jackson, Gulf Coast of Alabama, Pride Roofing has you covered. Insured, bonded, best warranty on their labor in the business. Enough shingles in that yard to do 150 to 200 roofs. They make their own flashing. Nothing is built or grade. And a bunch of TigerBait viewers and subscribers have jumped on their service already and are very happy with the job, the quotes, their ability to negotiate if there's a bigger bid, all that. Give Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez at Pride Roofing a call. Tell them you heard about it on TigerBait, and they are going to give you a free annual subscription to TigerBait. They're paying for it. That's a $99 value. So, and as I say that, I want you guys go try us out. It's going to be a busy week of recruiting. Got a lot of updates on our message board. I've been dropping tidbits and morsels of information on our TigerBait Tiger Den Premium message board on recruiting all throughout the days, the last 2 days. And a lot more coming your way. I'll be out at camp taking photos, video, talking about the top performers of these camps. And of course, now not only covering that, we've got a baseball coaching search and now a search for an offensive line coach. So it's going to be very interesting at TigerBait.com. You'll get text alerts sent to your phone as there's breaking news like you did tonight if you're a subscriber and signed up for our text alerts. You get our newsletters, the works. As always, try us out. $1 gets you on the site for a week to try us out. And choose the annual package. It's less expensive. That way you get 3 months free when you do that. And so subscribe to TigerBait. Or if you need a new roof, get it for free. Call Pride Roofing. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait. All right, guys. Let's see what else I got here. Chance Babin, Coach Raymond is the only position coach left from 2019 now. That's not right, is it? Mickey, right? You're thinking passing game coordinator. Yeah, no, Mickey was there. Let's see. All right, guys. Josh Guillory. Need an O-line coach that can recruit talent into the program. Absolutely. You know, a good part of the cake is baked for an LSU offensive line coach this year because it's a special year in the state. Will Campbell, of course, leads the pack. Emry Jones, who I think is going to be an all-SEC guard. I mean, heck, he could probably play center. He might even be able to play right tackle if he needed him to. Honor student, great kid. I think he'll be a part of things. Got Bo Bordelon at Newman. I know he's adding muscle. I'm looking forward to seeing him this weekend. But yeah, you do need an offensive line coach that can recruit and is going to get on the road. And now that everything's opened up, it's just the timing of this is just awful. It's just, I keep saying it over and over. It's bad. So let's see. Yeah, well, Kevin Falk was on the staff, but he wasn't officially a position coach. That was Tommy Robinson. Okay, guys, let's see. All right. All right, guys, I'm scrolling up here, seeing what I miss. Yeah, the Slaw office. Pipe Dream head coach, Ben McDonald. No, we've had Ben McDonald, Todd Walker. What do we have? Brian Wilson earlier. Yeah. Let's see. Do we have a shot at the running back from Mississippi, Robinson? Man, your running backs are right here in Louisiana. And then for next year, we're going to see how that plays out. So, yeah, no, Le'Veon, Moss, Citizen, HN are the three to watch. And I think it's two of those three. There you go, Esteban. Mike Scarborough for OL coach and with PG and Buddy as assistants. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Travis Cantrell, Bo Bordelon is adding muscle for sure. He will be a beast. You know, throughout the whole process with Bo and talking to Ben, he was just giving me updates. As a 9th grader, 10th grader, he's like, man, Ben was telling me I was that same size, but he's going to be bigger than me. You know, the height, the weight, all of that is similar to his daddy, Ben, of course, who was all SEC for LSU in the 90s, and I think an academic all SEC player. And so I think Bo's making that same trajectory, and just got to keep eating and working out, and it's going to come. Before you know it, he's going to be 300 pounds. Dane Bergeron, any truth to Bo Bonson? Yeah, I clicked the wrong one. Dane Bergeron, any truth to Bo Bonson leaving in July? I haven't heard that, but I do know that he was getting close to retirement. So I think he had already been moved to a different position, a year or two ago? We'll see. Gregory Price, we need mean and nasty offensive line guys like Bama has. We get one or two maybe. Look, offensive line, without a doubt, has always been tricky for LSU. This year is an aberration when you've got Campbell and Bordelon and Emry Jones out there. It's not often that you have 3 offensive linemen in the state of Louisiana in a year that you think are all going to be players for you in the future. So let's see. All right, guys. More to the Cregg firing. More to the Cregg firing. Nope, we're waiting to see. I see Larry's posting a comment in there. The article released said recruiting violations. The release I got from LSU did not include that. So, and before I went live, I made a bunch of calls and nobody had anything yet. Let me double check my phone. Let's see. Yeah, everybody thinks it's having to do with recruiting violations, and there you go. Will Campbell with a message. He's in Baton Rouge tomorrow, so they're gonna have a discussion with Will Campbell. He's gonna be on campus tomorrow. I know on Friday. I think Walker Howard's gonna be in, or maybe he'll be in tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I know he's at least gonna be there on Friday. He was gonna be there because he wanted to be there when the offensive linemen were there on Saturday. So this is a big deal, but LSU obviously is going to have to address this situation with guys like Will Campbell and how they move forward. So it's going to be very interesting. Jacque Fontenot, Cregg couldn't adapt, huh? I don't think this has anything to do with adapting. He's been here for years. Obviously, when you get a release as short as the one as LSU sent that was abrupt with no quotes and no thank you for your service, you can't help but like I said, 20-something years in this business tells me that whatever it is, it's not positive. So let's see, guys. What else I want to talk about? One of the things that we've been talking about on our board on TigerBait is a lot of the recruiting. Another big day today. You had Bryce Anderson there from Beaumont Westbrook, who, of course, was committed to LSU. He still had LSU in his top 5. A lot of people believe that when he decommitted from LSU, he'd be A&M bound, but LSU has stayed on top of him. I know Ruben Owens, the 5-star running back from El Campo, Texas, was favoring LSU as a 9th grader. Always had LSU on his mind, but then committed to Texas back in February. So he was there today. And then Jamon Tapp, the defensive end from Ascension Catholic, who they didn't have a spring football practice. I was hoping to get to see him then, but I can't wait to see him at camp this June. He was on campus today. So, and Ruben Owens had a good time. I know the Texas Longhorn folks. I think Bryce Anderson at Beaumont Westbrook and Ruben Owens are both going to be two guys, two Texans, that there's going to be tons of ups and downs and drama in their recruiting processes. So I talked to a Texas Longhorn recruiting guy this afternoon. He in his mind, he thought Owens probably should just go ahead and decommit because he's going around and he's got 4 other visits he's going on. And then he's probably going to take official visits on top of that. So, and Bryce Anderson, I think he's got also Michigan in there and a couple others. So Texas, USC, also at Bryce Anderson. But Ruben Owens certainly looked good in the LSU number 4 in photos with Kevin Falk on his Twitter account this afternoon. Let's see, guys. What else we got? Ooh, everybody's saying recruiting violations. Yeah. We're going to see how this plays out. All right, guys. You guys hit me with some more questions. Please do me a favor, by the way. Like I said earlier, please, if you're on YouTube watching us, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Every time we go live, you'll immediately get an alert to your cell phone or your device that we've gone live. And on Facebook, also hit the like button on our TigerBait Facebook page, and then go to the top and hit follow first and notifications. So anytime we go live there, whichever your preference, when we go live, we're streaming on both Facebook and YouTube. Our YouTube channel is absolutely growing, well over 7,000 subscribers now. And so we thank you guys for that. And so, yeah, please do me a favor. Please share this on your Facebook if you're watching this on Facebook. I know if you're an LSU fan, you probably got a lot of other LSU fans that are friends of yours that might enjoy the content. Let's see, guys. Anything else? Ronald John Elias. Any advice on buying tickets for UCLA game? What is LSU putting out right now? Maybe some of you guys in the comments section can help him out. I know that you usually got with the Traveling Tigers and some other guys that are putting out packages. You know, if you're looking third party, do yourself a favor and stick with the reputable third party outlets. If you haven't heard of them before, don't send them your money. I think this was going to be a high demand ticket, but it's also, you know, a huge stadium. So I don't think you're going to have the problems to get there. But definitely, if you go third-party ticket outlet, use somebody that's been there forever. Yeah, Dane, plane tickets are ridiculous right now. I asked that last week in the chat. What are the sample airfare prices round trip to Los Angeles? I imagine it's not cheap with the price of gas right now. Jacque Fontenot, who would be 3 candidates up next for the O-line hire? Nothing but conjecture. This news tonight, we got it at 7 o'clock. I started working the phones, trying to find out, first of all, what happened, why, and had no answers at going live time at a little after 8. And we've had a bunch of people dropping names in the chat, but no definitive names. Certainly Ed Orgeron, he's got a lot of connections. He's got a bunch of guys on the staff with a lot of years in football. They're going to know some guys, and I'm sure they've got a working list right now, and maybe they've already talked to a couple. So, but you're going to want to get somebody as soon as you can, but do your due diligence and don't just do something knee-jerk and bring just anybody in. You know, take your time. Don't think that you have to have a guy here by this weekend. Go ahead and take your time. Get it done right if you can. Let's see. Houston to Los Angeles, 400 round trip. That's not bad. Yeah, Bart Smokey, Traveling Tigers sold out. Yeah, man, people are itching to get out on the road. And whether it's football games, sporting events, concerts, everything's hot right now. Matt Godwin, how do you think we do in Eugene this week? Man, I got a feeling LSU's going to win that regional. I don't know why. Y'all can call me crazy. That's something else I talked to Kendall Rogers about. I said, man, tell me, Kendall, you're more familiar with Oregon and Gonzaga than I am, but I'm looking at him and I'm like, I have a feeling LSU can go over there and win. And he said, absolutely. You know, you get the right pitching, you get some guys in the second half of that lineup that can make some hits. You know, who knows what can happen. LSU could have, I think LSU can win this regional. I believe it. Greg Price, UCLA side won't sell out. Governor of California controls size of attendance. I thought they had already maxed it out to 100,000. Am I wrong? Yeah, Kevin Mawae. We're still getting Kevin Mawae in the chat. I've seen this before. Roy Holloway. What about the LSU Eunice baseball coach? No, I don't think that would absolutely go against what we've seen from Scott Woodward and the type of hires he likes to make. He likes to go after the absolute biggest fish, and he will spend the money. So we'll see. Can he get that big fish? While he was at A&M, I'm told he went after Schlossnagel from TCU, and so that there might be a relationship already, or they've crossed paths. So we'll see how that plays out. And of course, O'Sullivan. I think those are your top two. I think if it's not one of those two, it's going to be Godwin. All right, guys. I tell you what, guys, I want to thank you all for participating tonight. I'm going to wrap it up. Went almost 50 minutes. Go to TigerBait, subscribe. Got loads of recruiting information on the Tiger Den message board you'll want to check out. I'm there answering your questions day and night. We'll be back here next week. If you're a subscriber, do sign up for text alerts, because as new offers come out to recruits in the next few days or at camp, you're going to get text alerts immediately to your cell phone and the newsletters. So go to TigerBait and subscribe. Choose the annual package, and stay tuned to TigerBait. We're going to have a lot for you. It's going to be a whirlwind between recruiting, now an offensive line coach search, a baseball coaching search. We're on top of it, and we absolutely want to have you guys as a subscriber to TigerBait. So thanks for participating, and see you guys real soon back here. We might even add, I'm probably going to add another show, just a recruiting show after camps this weekend. So that's why I hit the notification bell, subscribe, for when I just all of a sudden decide I'm going to go 15 minutes strictly on recruiting, you know, maybe Sunday evening or Monday or something like that. So, all right, guys, good night. Thanks for all of you for your questions, and much appreciated.